I remember being at Amachi's one time years ago, and it was during an evening they call it Devi Bhava, and it's a celebration of the Divine Mother, and where Amachi comes out in this major Divine Mother costume, and it goes on all night long and into the wee hours, 5 in the morning sometimes all the way until the next day. And she on Devi Bhava night, she takes a few questions. And this one person stood up, I think it was a woman, and she said, Amma, I don't know what I am supposed to do with my life. And and I just have to say she was a Western woman. And and she asked her Swami what this woman was trying to say, and he translated for her, and she didn't. It took her many moments, probably 5 minutes or more, to try to go back and forth with her Swami. What is she trying to say? What do you mean? She couldn't comprehend how someone could come up with that kind of existential, philosophical question. What am I supposed to do with my life? And finally, she blurted out in English, just be happy. And everyone laughed. You know, I think that in our in the cultures where we have so much, and perhaps even more than what we need, more food, more free time where we don't know what to do with ourselves. I don't know, just more of everything, more stuff. That the Western mind is also full of complications and mental hashing, like hashing on ourselves all the time, and not leaving well enough alone. And so for someone like Amma, who comes from a culture where most people have not enough, and where her life is all about being in service, to hear this kind of existential question of like, I don't know what to do with myself, just didn't even compute. Why am I talking about this? Why am I telling this story? It's because I think that there's a lesson here for anyone who's interested in taking a look at this, at how we complicate the simple reality, how we complicate our lives so often with overthinking, overanalyzing, overthinking ourselves, looking at ourselves and overthinking, what do I want? What will make me happy? Rather than learning how to tap into the spontaneity of what is needed in any given moment. The tapping into the aliveness of what is wanted rather than thinking about what is wanted, tapping into the aliveness of following the flow of where the direction is pointing and what is most obvious, the most next obvious thing to do. And for people in cultures where the next most obvious thing to do is really obvious, like taking care of family, working, feeding, survival, and such things, when we have a lot of free time, and not that that's bad or wrong, right? I'm not trying to compare in that way. Rather than going and becoming stuck in a psychological, mental kind of world, right? Thinking about ourselves and thinking about our lives and thinking about what we should be doing. There's a way to be engaged with life in the moment and to follow that trail of truth. Follow the trail of truth of what's most obvious, what has the most aliveness when we feel it, when we sense it. Sometimes it's obvious to do nothing and to sit and to wait and to feel into it, such as when I make these videos. Sometimes I wake up and it's just real obvious that this is what I'm meant to do today, and get prepared for that. And then I sit here and I feel into what wants to be spoken. Very, very rarely do I have a topic that is just, comes in hours before or something. Usually it's happening right in the moment, right beforehand. And I turn it on and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. So, here's the thing. My feeling is that we complicate life and make it way too heavy and serious for the most part. I mean, sometimes there are things that are really serious and heavy, no doubt. Health concerns, financial crises, whatever, serious matters. But when it isn't serious, we still oftentimes act like it is, or that our well-being is tied up with figuring something out about ourselves. No, we're meant to live life. I mean, Amma could have just as well said, rather than be happy, will be like, live life. Live life. You're here. Be here. Be here. Land here. Be here. Respond. Be a responsive being. Respond to your environment. And the next moment appears and respond to that. And the next moment appears and respond to that. We don't have to go looking for ourselves. We don't have to go looking for what's wrong. We don't have to go looking for what's right. Be here, be available, open yourself up to noticing what's going on the outside and on the inner, and respond. And see how any inertia that might be there starts to move when we start to not be so self-involved. That's really what this woman was saying, that she was so self-involved that she didn't know what to do with her life and with herself. I've been there too in the past. I remember there were many years where off and on I'd go in and out of like, I don't know what to do with myself. But then, this little trail of what to do next appeared, So, self-concern, overthinking, leaving ourselves out of the moment and not being here and living our lives. So this is what this video is about. Too much time on our hands. Not that time itself and not having to do things is bad, but to be using it. In what way are we using that time? Is it to ruminate and to think about all the things, this psychological world that is so insular and creates such a feeling, a deep sense of dissatisfaction and separation from existence? So, live life, engage, be present to yourself and to life, and see what the next moment is offering and inviting, and follow the trail of that. I'm going to follow the trail of that today, and I'm going to take a walk today. It's so beautiful. Meet with a friend. So, wishing you well.